Welcome back, Amiibros, to Mission 20 of Devil May Cry. In the last episode, we arrived in the underworld thanks to the help of the Philosopher's Stone. And in this episode, we're going to be making our way to Mundus' throne room. But first, we have a showdown with Nightmare. You could argue Mission 20 kind of spoils you on that, but if you've been paying attention, you've faced 3 bosses 3 separate times, so it was only natural that you were going to face Nightmare a 3rd time. Despite him being a unique-looking boss, at the end of the day, he's still a boss, and he'll fall just the same. But yeah, we're finally in the underworld, no longer in the castle, and I gotta say, it's one of the more unique-looking areas of the game. I kinda wish the game had you in the underworld a little bit sooner. Not that Malay Castle was bad or anything, it's serviceable with its atmosphere and aesthetics, it's just, I really love the aesthetics of the underworld so much. It's such a stark contrast to what we were traveling through previously. It lets you know that you're no longer in the human world, that you're on Mundus' home turf, and anything can happen. You know, it adds an extra layer of tension to this otherwise stylish, action-packed game. But in the other room, Nightmare awaits us. Let's equip good old Thunder, and get ready for our final confrontation with Nightmare. Boy, Nightmare, you really dolled up the place for me. What are you doing sleeping on the job, Trish? I'm supposed to be hunting down Mundus. Oh, now look what you did. Now Nightmare's coming along. See what you do, Trish? You're nothing but trouble. Looks like someone's been swimming around in the Mississippi. That or the Hudson River. That's what happens when it grows a conscience. Anyway, Nightmare, round 3. Same fight, except with a few added moves and a smaller arena. You also only have 1 rune seal to activate in order to bring out Nightmare. I'm not sure if there's a second one, if so the camera is doing a miserable job at showing where the second rune seal is, but then again that could also just be how cramped and confined the arena is. The size of the arena, as well as the adding of a ceiling, can make this one of the more intense fights between you and Nightmare, simply because of how confined the space is now versus how open the previous 2 fights were. But enough about the arena, let's go over some of the new moves Nightmare now has access to. One of those being, much like the Nobodies, Nightmare can now steal your DT runes, making him 10 times scarier than any boss we have faced thus far. Yes, even more so than Nello Angelo. Speaking of which, if Nightmare swallows you up and brings you into his world, Nello Angelo will be there to greet you. Luckily, I don't get swallowed up in this fight, so I don't have to deal with that. I did during my test playthrough, but not here. Aside from that scary-ass move, Nightmare also utilizes the ceiling to his advantage. It's not just for show. If Nightmare is in his liquid form, he'll go up to the ceiling and form a cage around you. And if you don't slash away at it quick enough and form an opening, it's a guaranteed hit. If Nightmare is still on the ceiling while you attempt to activate the rune seal, he'll fire fluid-like projectiles at you. Just dodge accordingly and hit when you can. Don't try to bum rush it, you'll never activate the rune seal. His last new attack is another ranged attack, but this involves one of his top cores being exposed. If Nightmare's top core is exposed, he'll fire a fluid-like boomerang that'll circle around him. If this happens, get off him or activate Air Raid. Do not stay on top of him while that boomerang is active. It hurts and it's not worth the damage. Trust me. And that's pretty much all of Nightmare's moves for this fight. The only real absence from this fight is Nightmare's Ice Beam attack, which, given the size of the arena, is not really a bad thing. I mean, when Nightmare's cores are exposed, he'll still utilize defensive maneuvers in an attempt to get you off and protect himself. Right there, that's the fluid-like boomerang that he fires. I always thought it was his head for some reason. I don't know. Just don't bum rush the fight, take your time, and you should be fine. Anyway, we're almost done with Nightmare for the 3rd time. Just gotta get him off the ceiling. Unfortunately, he's not giving me an opportunity to do that, so I had to use a Vital Star to heal myself. Otherwise, that would have been an instant death right there. See what I mean? When he fires those fluid-like projectiles, you can't really go to the rune seal. And I do sort of like that Nightmare's getting smart enough to, keep you away from the thing that exposes him, you know? Speaking of which, we're almost done. Just expose that core, and fucking damn it, Trish! Ugh. I mean, it's about time you contributed. You'd think Trish would contribute the moment Nightmare showed up in an attempt to trap Dante, but no, it's only when Nightmare's weakened that she decides to do something. After all we've been through? You stabbing me and hurling a motorcycle at me? And showing up when I beat Griffin? Though technically that was Mundus that beat Griffin, but still! All those good times, Trish! All those good times! We now have an added element to the fight in the form of Trish, but much like her presence in the story, Trish's presence in this fight is virtually non-existent. I'm serious. With all the damage you've done to Nightmare, Trish coming into the fray shouldn't be worrying in the slightest. Her projectiles don't come out that fast, and they have some pretty easy tells. And, oh, never mind, I guess I was wrong. Nightmare does have the Ice Beam attack, but I guess he won't use it until Trish decides to do something in the last-ditch move to kill you, like he's doing now. And Nightmare is kaput. For that, you want to use Air Raid, because if your regular Dante's trying to slash away at Nightmare's cores, you're not really going to get a chance to, because Nightmare's exploding, I guess out of fear that, oh no, this guy's actually a threat. And speaking of threat, Nightmare's got a whole laser light show inside him. Jeez, Nightmare, where was this during the past 3 fights? I forgot how to use my lighting powers!
Dante! Dante, why did you save my life?
Because you look like my mother. Now get out of my sight. The next time we meet, it won't be like this.
Dante!
Don't come any closer, you devil! You may look like my mother, but you're nowhere close to her. You have no soul. You have the face, but you'll never have her fire!
You two have nailed me, Trish. You know the rules.
You know, for as emotionally driven as that scene is, it ultimately falls flat for me. Yeah, you know what? The rank I got for that mission perfectly summarizes my feelings towards that scene. But I'll explain what I mean next time, Bros. Our journey into hell has only just begun. Next time on Devil May Cry, we delve further into the underworld. See you guys then.